grab your spandex, your leg warmers, and tease your hair because we're about to travel back to March of 1985. It was in March of 1985 that we witnessed Mike Tyson's professional boxing debut. Mikhail Gorbachev became leader of the Soviet Union. The first internet domain name is registered. Madame Tussauds of London reveals their Michael Jackson wax figure, and Beverly Hills Cop is still the #1 movie. In the world of sports, Mike Tyson became his first professional boxing debut on March 6, 1985, when he fought Hector Mercedes in Albany, New York. He won by TKO in the first round. The match lasted 1 minute and 47 seconds. In the NBA, Larry Bird scored a record 60 points as a Boston Celtic on March 12th against the Atlanta Hawks. His teammate Kevin McHale, just 9 days earlier, had set the franchise record when he put up 56 points against the Detroit Pistons. At the end of the month, the first ever WrestleMania takes place at Madison Square Garden. The main event features Hulk Hogan and Mr. T defeating Rowdy Roddy Piper and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. And let me tell you, brother, Hulkamania was running wild. The NCAA tournament, or March Madness, expanded to 64 teams from 32 teams in March 1985. In politics, Ronald Reagan is serving his second term as U.S. President. Mikhail Gorbachev becomes leader of the Soviet Union. This is significant because he contributed to the defeat of communism and later won the Nobel Peace Prize for International Peace. Back in the U.S., underground tests are being performed at a Nevada test site. On March 16, 1985, a nuclear device was detonated 1,396 feet below ground. And the FDA approves the first blood test for AIDS. The president of the American Red Cross at the time, Richard F. Schubert, released a statement that read, "Testing for the antibody will help blood collection agencies to further improve the safety of the blood supply in the U.S. This is important because contaminated blood and blood products were contributing to new cases of AIDS." In music, #1 songs, according to Billboard in March of 1985, included Careless Whisper by Wham featuring George Michael, Can't Fight This Feeling by REO Speedwagon, and One More Night by Phil Collins. It was also in March of 1985 when Guns N' Roses first founded, when Axl Rose and Izzy Stradlin's band, Hollywood Rose, joined forces with another band named LA Guns, who just happened to be looking for a lead singer. Slash, Duff McKagan, and Steve Adler would join the band in the summer, and the rest is history. The world also watched as Billy Joel and Christy Brinkley got married while on a boat in the New York harbor near the Statue of Liberty. Billy Joel was quoted in the People magazine saying the reason we're going on the boat is to get away from the press. Even in March 1985, celebrities were trying to get away from the paparazzi. And after Stevie Wonder dedicates his Oscar for Best Original Song to Nelson Mandela, South Africa bans all of his records. At the time, Nelson Mandela was imprisoned in South Africa for plotting to overthrow the government. In the movies, at the beginning of the month, Beverly Hills Cop is still king of the box office 13 weeks after its original release date. It will fall to #2 the next week when Witness starring Harrison Ford is released before regaining the top spot one last time. Mask starring Cher as a biker mom with a son who has a facial deformity also debuts. The movie is based on the true life story of Roy Lee Rocky Dennis, who has suffered from a disorder that causes calcium to accumulate in the skull, resulting in his head swelling twice to the normal size. Friday the 13th, Part 5, yes, Part 5, is released on March 22nd and debuts at #1. But spoiler alert, Jason is dead and only makes an appearance at the beginning as part of a dream sequence. At the end of the month, Desperately Seeking Susan is released starring Madonna and Rosanna Arquette. Despite Madonna's popularity at the time, it doesn't do all that well. It debuts in its opening weekend at number 14. The movie is released just before Madonna embarks on her first North American tour to support her album Like a Virgin. Fun fact, BC Boys are her opening act. In the economy, gas prices were about $1.19 a gallon. That means I could fill my car for $15. Apple halts production in 4 of their production facilities for a week due to oversupply. This would mark the first time that Apple would ever have to halt their production. Slow sales were to blame. The products being made at the time were the Apple II, Macintosh, and Macintosh XL. IBM announces 2 new desktops on March 7th. The 5170 model, $495, priced at $9,420, and the 5170 model, $495 Model A, priced at $8,130. There is also a Model J that features extra storage space that's priced at $10,420. Nearly 2 weeks later, on March 20th, IBM announces its plans to halt production on the PC Junior home computer. At the end of March, Nissan Sentra's first built in America rolls off an assembly line in Smyrna, Tennessee. Nissan would become the 3rd Japanese automaker to build cars in America. Honda and Toyota were first, and Mazda had announced its intentions of building a production facility here in Flat Rock, Michigan. At the time, Mazda was owned 25% by Ford. During March of 1985, the world saw many of the people and events we know so well today make their debuts. In sports, we watched as Mike Tyson made his professional debut in the boxing ring by getting a TKO in the first round, and we also saw the first ever WrestleMania. In politics, Mikhail Gorbachev becomes Soviet leader and improves international peace. In music, the bands LA Guns and Hollywood Rose merged to form Guns N' Roses, one of the greatest rock bands to come out of the 80s. In the movies, Madonna makes her acting debut in Desperately Seeking Susan before going on her first North American tour. It's safe to say that March of 1985 definitely holds a place in history.